You are sitting on the sidelines. You are wondering what the hell to do with your life as the world spins around you, falling off the rails. Klaus Schwab is about to make you eat crickets, and you're about to live in a 15-minute city. What the hell do you do to escape that? You got to make money. You got to make money. If there's anything that the world has taught us, is that the pandemic does not affect those with the guap to get out of the way. And if you need to do that, you join algofactory.tech, where we teach you not only how to trade, but to build the algorithms that trade on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Algofactory.tech, where we put on a clinic to make sure that you're in it to win it. And with that being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.
All right. Did you say something about a WAP getting out of the way? What?
What?
I'm Italian, bro. What are you talking about? Yeah, support those with the WAP getting out of the way. Like what?
The guap.
Guap, like GUOP. What is that, like some New York thing? What's that mean?
Yeah, it's a New York thing. Guap
okay.
means money.
Okay. I thought it was something like
chutzpah
or something.
Not WAP.
Okay. Gotta get the WAPs out of the way. Like, oh shit, I don't know if I want to be involved in this.
Gotta whack the WAPs.
Yeah, gotta whack them.
Oh my god, what a morning.
That's good. All right, yeah, we were talking about our latest product. We're not going to cover it here on the show, but we were just talking about our latest product. And let's just say it is how do I
efficacious for health.
Yeah, very efficacious, man. We're gonna penetrate the market, certainly.
Oh yeah, it's very fun to apply. No lie.
Oh yeah, very applicable. Let's go over to. I'm gonna put the link over in Discord really quick, everybody. Let's see, join us live. And quiet morning. I've got a little mini trade on right now that I took before before we got onto the show here. And we did have just some super minor data come out this morning, so I wasn't even worried about it. I took a day trade and barely affected it, of course, because this is minor data. So today's actually a good day to take some, in my opinion, day trades. The market is kind of stretched out in a given direction. We're going to look at the charts here very, very shortly. I'm going to share it now, as a matter of fact. And the move that I predicted 2 days ago, and I did a video clip. If you go over to the Algo Factory YouTube channel, which can be found if you just go to our website. Our YouTube's at the bottom there. And here's the website itself. Here's the QR code. Zap that. Come see us. Come join us. Whatever. When you look on the bottom, you'll see our YouTube, which is just the Algo Factory YouTube. And I put a clip on there 2 days ago, and it's the Euro. I think it's the EUR/USD prediction forecast, if you will. And of course, none of it is investment advice. It's just charting analysis, right? And in that charting analysis, I was showing that the euro dollar was going to drop, and it was going to drop to a certain level. We mapped it out, and sure enough, it's exactly what happened. So let me go ahead and zoom in so everybody can see the chart a little bit better, and then we'll go over what happened. Okay. And here we go. I'm going to go to the higher time frame, and the lines that you see, some of them were put down so many days ago. I did erase the arrows just because I've been trading it, but you see this line right here, right? So I used this as we were talking. The charts were right here. I'm going to draw an arrow. The charts were right there 2 mornings ago, right where that arrow is. Okay, I know there's a lot of gobbledygook, so let me clean this up. All right, let's do that at least. I need the lines that are on the chart. I need them here now. Okay, but it looked like price was going to fall, and I didn't know it was going to fall so quickly as it did. That big red bar was right after our class, right? So we were kind of right there. Let me broaden this out. Now, as price was headed down, I did what's called a Fibonacci extension. Okay, this line here, this yellow line, I'm going to make it a little thicker to make it more visible. This is our extension, our impulse. Okay, so I'm going to make that real visible here for everybody. It's not that visible. I don't know, maybe you can see it. It's a dotted line here. Okay, that's the impulse. And I know for you beginners, this might be not quite beginner material, but this is where we did our math on the trade. So this move down was an impulse, and I did what's called a Fibonacci extension. Okay, Fibonacci, I did a fib move right here. I took my fib tool. I started at the beginning of this impulse, went to the end of the impulse, and then the extension numbers are down here. This 272, this purple 272, and this red 618. Those are fib extension lines. And so this blue, I put a blue line here on the 618. I put a blue line here on, on the 272, I meant to say. And I put this teal blue line here on the 618. And what I said was probably going to happen, it happened quicker than I thought. I didn't think it was going to be as hard of a move down as it is, but the dollar has just been demonstrating a lot of strength. And price came down, bounced right off that 272, popped up, went down again, and is now bouncing off the 618. And the area to which it is attracted and may bounce is this bottom line. Okay, so these two, I'm gonna just code these a different color, so that we don't confuse ourselves. All right, so normally a fib extension, if it has a lot of power, might go to that 1.1. But I'm not sure if it will, because there's an old support here that goes back to like March, this T line on the bottom. So price will reverse at some point, probably. And I'm in a trade now where I got into it prior to opening this class up, just because the conditions met as I was reviewing the charts. And that trade is this. I'll show you right now. The entry, let's see where the entry was. Hold on a minute. I got to go to my other screen here, so give me just a moment to gather the data. Listen to our music. I'm gonna have to zoom out just a little bit. Okay, and the entry was at, where is it? 1.05438, I think, is the entry. So I entered right about here. So the actual box, the long short box, is going to look like this. This is my trade. Nice little, I'm going to say 1.8 to 1. Maybe like a 1.6 to 1. Oh, no, 1.3. It's still within my rules. It's better than 1 to 1. Prefer a much better risk to reward. But I also got into it a little later than I wanted to. And some of it had to do with data coming out right at 6:30. But this is the trade so far in profit. So just to kind of keep that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and put some alerts here. Take profit. That way, if it happens during the show, we'll know it. Take profit and stop loss. And then now we'll go ahead and see who is watching with us, see if we got any comments. By the way, if you're watching this, don't forget to like, subscribe. Helps out with the algos, all that. I know there's a couple of people watching right now on YouTube. If you're over in the private, let's see here. Jay says, nice rise in Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at that. Let me do some algorithmic exits really quick, though. Okay, give me just a moment. I have some formulas that tell me to get out, or at least to look at getting out from an algo standpoint. And that's this is a great safeguard against, things going against ya. Oh yeah, things going against ya. All right, so let's do this. Okay. Crossing. Call this algo exit. Okay. This is the next gen algo, and it will, when it gets coded, it's going to have an algorithmic exit. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. All right, so let's see here. All right, we'll go ahead and move away from this trade. We'll look at Bitcoin. Jay said nice rise in Bitcoin. Let's see what happened. Yeah, Jay, I doubt it has anything to do with any news. Just so you understand, like these moves in Bitcoin, they don't have anything to do with news, like 90%, 99% of the time. Jay, as great of a trader as you are, you're always the one that says, hey, the news said this, and so price moved that. No, I've been pretty clear about this. 99% of price movement has zero to do with news, just so you understand that. It was going to happen. News might supercharge a move that was going to happen anyway, but the news means basically nothing. Okay, if you got a news article like China banned crypto, okay, yeah, that might have an effect. Okay, the U.S. bans crypto, that might have an effect. XRP wins the SEC case, that had an effect, right? But it was temporary. Let's take a quick look at that. And I cannot drill home enough to everybody out there that the news has very little to do with price movement. Okay, it's look what happened here. Let me zoom back in, by the way. Let me add some zoomage here. Let's take a look at Ripple before we talk about Bitcoin. What's up, Cool Cat? My brother from another mother. All right, so we got we'll go to Coinbase. Okay. Okay, this is the 12-hour. Okay, and let's ignore Coinbase really quick. Let's go to XRP/USD. We'll try Binance. It's gonna be smoother. Okay, looking at the Binance chart, this big wick was news. Okay, we'll go back to Bitcoin in a minute, but that wick, which took price from 47 cents to $1 to basically 93 cents. It doubled the price of Ripple. The SEC, this is when Ripple won the SEC case, right? I'm sure the SEC is going to appeal or do whatever it does. They're not done making trouble. But this was that. Now, this happened in July when Ripple, basically, it was said that when Ripple is given to retail, it is not a security. That's like the summary, very basic version of it. That's not exactly it. But basically, that's more or less what that outcome was that if Ripple is created and given to retail, then it's not a security under those circumstances. And there are some other caveats to that. It's more complex than that. But that's basically what it was. Price doubled. And guess what? That was back in July. Well, by August, it was down lower than that news. So, and that was huge news. That's big news. And it was big for the entire crypto space. And look at that. Within a month, it was actually down lower than before the news. Okay. So even what would be very large news, okay, sure, it created this spike up, but that was this Ripple thing was like a 3-year-old problem or something. It's been around for a long time. And it had a lot of people on the sidelines just waiting. It was something that had a lot of news, and it affected the entire crypto market. It was a landmark decision, and it spiked up. Yeah. But guess what it didn't do? It didn't keep going, and it eventually ended here. And that was big news. That was as big as anything. That was as big as like China bans crypto or, US bans crypto. That was like that. That was that size news. Okay. That barely affected anything. So to have some small article about Congress telling Gensler this or that, it's that I really, really doubt highly. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I doubt highly that this caused, any real movement in crypto. Sorry, wrong chart here. We need to look, and here's the other thing about it. Let's just say that it did. Let's just say that news affected this price, right? Let's just say that was the case. I'm pretty sure it's not. But let's just say it was. How did you know that news was going to come? How did you know? How did you know that was going to come? No, you didn't. No one knew. That's why it's called news. So nobody knew except for maybe a few inside people that this news was going to hit, right? And so if that's the case, there's no way to take advantage of it. There's never any. There's rarely ever ways. Hi, Valentine, to take advantage of news. So sitting there watching the news, right? Watching the news, trying to use it to trade, it's a waste of time. So when news is just noise, man. News, noise. One syllable, starts with an N, ends with an S. News, noise, right? Now we do have some information that is very helpful on the macro, and that comes on mostly every Thursday, right? As Cool Cat was just talking about. So we have the gorilla coming in tomorrow. It's still tomorrow, right? The drips.
Yes.
So we got V has his drips. Now V the Gorilla, for those who might be kind of new to watching this, V the Gorilla deals with some pretty large players all around the world. People with billions of dollars. It's you've been in metals, strategic and precious metals for going on 2 decades. So basically,
almost 2 decades at this point.
Yeah, almost 2 decades or almost 1 decade.
No, almost 2 decades, man. We're
almost 2, yeah. So when you're in the world of strategic metals, precious metals, and even crypto, because you've been in crypto, you've been involved in crypto since like 2013, right?
2013, 14, yeah, right around there. Right before the Ukraine thing popped up. So it was about 2013.
2013.
Year before Ukraine. Yep.
That's when you first got involved, and I think you really ramped up in crypto probably about 2016, right?
16, 17, yeah.
Yeah, so
when 18, I was running with the institutions at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, look, okay, forget all the history. Just with crypto, since 2018, the Gorilla's been working with institutions. That's when you and I both got started in OTC, worked together a little bit.
Yep.
So that was kind of cool. And then V and I went our separate ways with crypto there for a minute, and of course we're working together, and we've done deals together, so on and so forth. But the thing is, when you're dealing with people at that level, you get information because those people know what's going on. Now there are a lot of hedge funds with billions of dollars who really don't trade that well. It's one thing to understand. Just because they're a hedge fund doesn't automatically mean they have good information, doesn't automatically mean that they're good traders. But when you're dealing with people who have billions of dollars to spend, and like what's that story? I don't know if you want to tell that story, but the one about the resort that you told me about before the show. Is that not one you can talk about?
Yeah. I'm not gonna.
All right. When you can look, when you have that kind of power that these people have, you get information because a lot of times you're actually helping to make happen what happens. So tomorrow, whatever we can talk about that is okay to talk about, we're going to talk about tomorrow on the Drips. And it only comes out in Algo Factory. It doesn't come out in Rogue News, doesn't come out anywhere else. So come join us. That's tomorrow. That's the Drips. But as far as crypto and Bitcoin and this move, we'll maybe go a tiny bit over because we started late on this. We'll go a tiny bit over on the beginner session if that's okay with the Gorilla.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna just look at the chart here. I can tell you, yeah, Bitcoin is high time frame bearish. It does want to flip down, but actually on the weekly chart there is a certain amount of bullishness, and it's been going on since mid-September, right? So it's the charts have wanted to push up a little bit since mid-September, right? And you saw it really start to form up on 22nd September, 23rd, around about there. So roughly, what is that? 4 days ago, this move up that we saw today, the last 24 hours or so, that the impetus for that from a charting standpoint occurred back in the 24th, 23rd, 22nd. So this move up was entirely predictable by looking at the charts. So you see, I'm going to go ahead and posit that there's probably very little to do with any news on this move up. But what'll happen is, as the move up starts to happen, right? As it starts to happen, maybe they'll put some news out there to supercharge the move up. But that move up was going to happen anyway. And whether or not that news supercharged is really, really questionable because we are in a very, very, very slow time for crypto because it's where it is in the 4-year cycle, right? So what you're looking at is a sort of a BART head. And don't worry, Cool Cat, we'll look at Link once we move on to the private chat. But you've got a long support. All this price action back here is going to attract price. Let me just roll over to a higher time frame, actually, because that looks really messy. The reason that we saw this move, okay, is if you look at a high time frame scenario, you see all this chop going on here, this ugly ass chop. That's ugly. That is UGLY. And so if you were to look at this as an order block where a lot of buying and selling has occurred, there's a lot of it right in here going on for months and months in this area, right? That's a big order block, okay? Price gets attracted to order blocks, contrary to the way that a lot of very good crypto traders, oof, man, that'll wake you up. Hold on. Contrary to the way that a lot of very good crypto traders trade, The price does not bounce off these blocks. It's attracted to these blocks. And if it bounces off of them, or if that's how it appears, it's not really doing that. What it's doing is it's moving to the next block. Okay. Or it's just moving in the direction that price really wants to go after gathering liquidity. But it doesn't bounce off these. These don't act like rubber. It's not how it works. But price was attracted to that block as it came down, as I draw an arrow here to demonstrate that. Okay, price came down, right? And then as you saw it on the charts, as I just kind of described to you earlier from the algos, mostly using the SMI, if you look at the high time frame, the move up started to form right about the time price got to this and gathered that liquidity, right? And now price is headed up. And it's probably headed up to gather some liquidity from this order block right here. I'm guessing. We can look at the Kingfisher, but there's probably liquidity wherever I drew that box. So let's see that, and then we'll analyze that real quick, and then we're going to go from the beginner over to the private. So I'm going to let's spin to win, see if I can get some credits. And this is the Kingfisher, kingfisher.io. It's great. I talk about it all the time. I use it. Looks like I got no love. But that's okay. I got credits. We're good to go. So let me go ahead and look at Bitcoin BTC. And let me go ahead and grab a chart. Okay, so if you look here, there is liquidity. It's hard to see on the screen. Let me see if I can make this easier to see. Locally, right? Close by, there's liquidity sitting pretty high at, not pretty high, but that it's at 26,950. That's the kind of the spike. And it really goes from 26.9 to about, say, 26.9 to 27. So on the chart, what does that look like? 26.9 to 27. It's kind of like right here. Basically right here between those two arrows, and it's above. I didn't, I could do this, you know what I'm saying? Kind of more like that. This is where the liquidity is, right here in those two arrows, and price is headed right for it. So if you combine charting along with an understanding of where the liquidity is, it's a real easy way to show where price is going to go. And anybody looking at this price action along with this liquidity right here would understand, okay, price is headed in this direction, right? And anybody, let's just say that they wanted to use the news to push crypto in a given direction. Once they understood price was on its way to liquidity, then they could release some news, and that might get a few people who think they're traders and they're just sitting watching the news all day thinking they're going to make money off the news. It might let them kind of feel a little bit right. But I'm telling you right now, sitting and watching the news, like real traders, they don't do that. Real traders do not do that. The only time a real trader is watching the news is going to be when it's economic data coming out. And they're probably quants with high level information who understand like what Powell's going to say ahead of time. Like that's the only time I've ever seen anybody make money off news. Any other time, it's been a chart thing, and it's been almost solely a chart thing. You get the rare exception of the Ripple announcement that I just demonstrated earlier, but this pretty much has nothing to do with the news. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. And I I say this all the time. So for my private members to be saying, "Well, I think the news did this," it's like, are we speaking the same language? I mean, seriously, stop it, y'all. You're not a horse. All right, so. We're going to look at the link, but before they do that, I went ahead and went a little bit over since we started late today. So for the beginner session, I'm going to throw up the QR code so you can go ahead and head to our website, see where we're at, algofactory.tech. And I know, Jay, your question was whether or not there's a pullback. We'll see. To answer your question, Jay, it's right here between 26.9 and 27. When price hits that, if the charts indicate a pullback is coming, then it can happen. But I'm going to have to see what happens when price digs into that liquidity. I'm going to see if there's more liquidity that it's going to want to go to. I'm going to take a look at charts at that time. And whether or not there's going to be a pullback is going to be determined by, for me, algorithmically. And of course, using price action. And it's going to be the same thing that we always do here on these shows. That's how I'm going to know. So whether or not it setups for a pullback, I don't have that answer until price actually gathers that liquidity and we start to see how it forms up. So again, Zap that QR code, go to the website, see what we do. We're amazing. V, can you give us that gorilla send off, my friend?
Absolutely. Listen, don't hesitate. Join us. Be part of probably the greatest leverage you're going to ever have as an American citizen or as a person anywhere in the world. Learn not to be a victim of the market that dictates how your economy goes, no matter what country you're living in. But be not a victim, but a victor. Be somebody that can take advantage of the market moves and get ahead of it and profit from it. Most importantly, join us, Algo Factory Tech. Cowboy, let's get into the private room.
All right.